Our collusion and corruption segment tonight, a criminal referral of Christopher Steele by Senators Chuck Grassley and Lindsey Graham, that is now declassified. This declassified letter is significant because it corroborates the allegations made in the Nunes memo. The allegations that claim Steele misled the FBI and that the FBI may have misrepresented evidence they provided to the FISA Court in order to obtain a warrant to spy on the Trump transition team. But wait just a minute. We have been talking about FISA courts and FISA judges and FISA warrants a lot lately as they relate to the FBI's political bias and Christopher Steele and wiretapping Trump campaign officials during the campaign. But what is the FISA court? How does it work? And why is it so secret? A man who knows the process from the inside joins us now. He's a former staffer on the House Intelligence Committee and a former CIA analyst, Fred Fleitz. Fred, good to see you. Thanks for joining.
Hey, Liz, good to be here.
All right, Fred, I want to even separate this from the Christopher Steele story for just a second and just explain to our viewers how the FISA court process works. Start at the beginning here. A FISA court was created it was created for the purpose of, for the purpose of spying essentially on American citizens if there is any indication that they are connected illegally to foreign powers.
Yeah, Liz, this is a good discussion to have because I don't think people know what this means. In 1978, Congress passed a law, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, to make sure that foreign intelligence agencies could only be used against American citizens in extraordinary circumstances. And this was done in the aftermath of Watergate because of a perception that our intelligence agencies were being abused. Now, if the FBI wants to wiretap an American drug dealer, the FBI can go to a normal judge. This is a special court. It's a secret court that the Justice Department goes through to explain the foreign intelligence reason that an American citizen will be surveilled using usually the National Security Agency, but sometimes the FBI in a foreign intelligence capacity. The Justice Department appeals directly to the judge. There's no opposing counsel and has to have a comprehensive case on why it is necessary to do this. It's a very serious process.
Okay, so start for us at the beginning. If there was an FBI agent who wanted to obtain a warrant like this, first he would have to have almost proof that this was happening, proof that this American citizen was colluding with a foreign power, correct?
Well, I mean, there's a number of circumstances. There could be an American citizen who's been talking to someone in Iraq who the FBI believes may be linked to al-Qaeda. The American citizen might be innocent, but we don't know that until we listen to the phone call. That's the type of controversial circumstance that's gotten people like Senator Rand Paul pretty upset because, in his view, Americans could be making innocent calls to locations in the Middle East or maybe even to Europe, but since they seem to have some contact with someone who may have a relationship with a terrorist group, their phone number, their conversation has been recorded.
Right, so it could almost be, it's not just first-degree contacts is what you mean. It could be contact with someone who has a contact that's sketchy, so almost a second or third-degree contact. Who are these judges? What role do they play?
Well, it's a rotating group of judges. I think they change every month. I'm not sure. You know, I can't tell you how they're chosen exactly. And they look at this request for a warrant, and, you know, they approve over 99% of them. Now, until just very recently, I didn't have a problem with that because my understanding was that the judges work with the Justice Department to make sure that they get an application that they can approve. But I think we're learning from this Christopher Steele thing that the Justice Department is being trusted by the judges. They're not being questioned adequately enough because as you know, there are so many problems with the request to spy on Carter Page, such as the Steele memo was financed by the Democratic National Committee and the Clinton campaign, and the judge wasn't told that. But I think we have to wonder, did the judge ask the right questions to find out, was this information reliable?
Right, and so I understand that you can't say how exactly these judges are selected, but do they only play the role of a judge, or are these other appointed officials, or do they hold some other role at the Justice Department? Do they serve sort of a tandem role, or are they just FISA court judges?
I believe they're federal judges who serve on other courts, and they rotate in for service on the FISA Court.
I see, I see. Okay, so then who signs off on this? Because we learned from the Senate Judiciary Committee letter, as well as the Nunes memo, that FBI Director James Comey signed off on 3 of the warrants to wiretap Carter Page during the campaign or directly off of that. How does that play in? Who needs to sign off on them after the judge has granted the warrant? I don't understand that.
Well, the request for the warrant is made by officials of the Justice Department. There's going to be input from the FBI, which there was in the applications to Carter Page, and the Justice Department official who signs off, and these are very long documents, they may be 100 pages, is certifying to the judge that everything in here is accurate and complete. Now, we know there were omissions, and there were things that were deliberately left out. That's why I suspect there's some legal liability for the justice officials, including Comey, who signed off on the Carter Page warrant requests.
Right. Well, if that's what signing off on the warrant means, if James Comey is testifying essentially via his signature that everything in the FISA application was true, yet he knew that the FBI had fired Christopher Steele because they didn't believe he was credible, yet he knew the FBI was also representing Christopher Steele to the FISA judge as being a credible individual, you'd think that that signature would be relatively damning. Fred, thanks for walking through this with us. I think the FISA court, the FISA judges, the FISA warrants have been confusing. They are confusing to many of the American people, including me. I appreciate the clarity. Thanks for being here.